Thank you so much for joining us. This is the info session for our fall cohort for Founders Boost. We're really excited to answer all of your questions today. Joining me is Arvind Murthy. He is the LA co-director. He's going to speak a little bit about the LA program and some other fun things to know about our program. So today for the agenda, I have a really quick slideshow just to give you a very brief overview of the program. Most of this information you can also find on our website. And then we'll have time for some questions at the end. I don't think I introduced myself. I'm Diane Bailey. I am the Global Programs Manager here at Founders Boost. If you joined this info session because of an email, you probably have been seeing my name floating around your inbox. I am a real person. If you've registered your application through F-Success and you want to email somebody, you're emailing me. I promise I see them, I read them. I'm not an avatar, I'm not a chatbot, I'm a real person. Please email me with additional questions. So really happy to have you all joining today. For those of you who are unfamiliar with our program, Founders Boost is a global program. We have been running this for over 8 years. We've had over 600 startups go through the program and an estimated $2.6 billion in company valuations. So these are companies that are right on the precipice of doing amazing things, such as raising their pre-seed round, seed round, or gaining significant customer traction. So we're really looking for founders at that early traction stage. There has to be some kind of demonstrable traction, either with customers, pilots, maybe you have a huge wait list, but we're really seeking founders at that stage, and they go on to do amazing things. Here's just a small sample of some of the amazing opportunities that our alumni go on to participate in. We have founders who go through Jason Calacanis's launch program. We had a founder a cohort ago who went through a 16Z's accelerator program. And then of course your normal tier one accelerators, Techstars, and Y Combinator. We have founders who go through those programs as well. So you're in really good company. We've been doing this all around the world. This particular cohort, we're focused on a few regions, LA region, including our Glendale program, and Africa, which is centered around our Kenya program. So how do we do this? What is our methodology? Well, we were looking for founders in underrepresented and underserved areas, and we're bringing those founders to the table and giving them a voice and an opportunity and access to programs that everyone should have access to. It's a hands-on program, it's mentor-driven, and we do this to open doors to really help those founders grow wherever they are. Diversity is in our ethos. We are super dedicated to having underrepresented and underserved founders go through our program over the last 4 years, and now we're going to go on 5 years. 80% of our founders have identified as underrepresented, and this is because we're able to source founders where other accelerators or other programs may be overlooking. So let's talk a little bit about what you're going to get out of the program. It's a 6-week program. You get access to mentors, a network. It's hands-on with mentors at every single session, and you have access to our ecosystem and additional programming afterwards. During the sessions, we have speakers, you have pitch coaching, and we have mentors. It's a 3-hour program, and we're dividing up each hour according to what you see on the screen here, and it moves very quickly. It's very impactful in those 3 hours. I mentioned our mentors. We have a 2-to-1 ratio of mentors to startups, and this is something that's really unique with our Founders Boost program. Most of our mentors are working with you every single session. So you're able to have that continuity through each session, from session to session. You don't have to reintroduce yourself each time, but we're also bringing in those new voices too to give you different perspectives. We have over a 91% approval rating on our mentors. We're very strategic in who we bring as a mentor into the program, as well as our speakers. At the end of the program, yes, we have demo days, either virtual or in person. That's pretty traditional to all accelerator programs. Something that's a little unique to Founders Boost, which I think is a huge advantage for all of our founders, is we have our Global Investor Showcase. This happens twice a year. We post your recorded pitch video and broadcast it to our network of investors, ecosystem partners, additional accelerators, and give you additional visibility into the network. So this is something that we are doing on your behalf to get your startup out into the ecosystem. And in looking at our previous participants, over 40% of the participants who are watching the Global Investor Showcase are investors. We also have facilitated introductions between investors and other interested parties to you as a founders. We have our perks. Of course, this is something similar to all of our startups or all accelerator programs, but we do have that perks program, especially if you are needing some of those AI credits and back-end credits. We have all of those. As you are filling out your application, here are some best practices to keep in mind. We are looking for founders in that early traction stage. That means we're going to be looking more closely at your team. Who's on your team? Do you have a team? How big is the market? Is there room to grow? We're also thinking about things through a venture capital lens. Tell us a little bit about your product. Is it something that's needed in the market? What competitive advantages do you have? And traction. Show that there is some level of demonstrable traction that customers want what you have. That's what we're looking for. And to do that, complete the application to the best of your ability. You may not know all of the answers, but it's to your advantage if you write something in every single required field on the application. And that's because our program leaders, like Arvind, prioritize those finalized applications over the incomplete ones. So it's better to fill something out in every single field on the application than to leave something blank. And that's because you will show up first in our system when we go to select the cohort. Another important piece is to record a 1-minute video. This is your chance. It doesn't have to be high production value. You can use your phone, but this is your chance to give us a little bit more personality to your application so we can get to know you a little bit more than just what you've provided in a static capacity on the application. So let your personality shine. We do watch those videos. So that is it for that brief part of the slides. Let me kick it over to you, Arvind. Tell us a little bit about what it's like to be a director, how to work with
Sure.
founders. Fill us in.
Well, Dan, thanks so much for that wonderful presentation. I think it was super additive. And one thing that I took away is in that application, it was designed. And I remember when the HQ team designed our application on F6S, which I think most of you will be applying through, to be as additive as possible. Right. We know that you're looking at so many programs and it's the same old application. We try to make ours a little bit different. So as you're answering those questions, you're really thinking a little bit more critically about yourself, your team, and your startup, right? So that's something super important. So just like Diane said, if there are any questions that you feel tempted to kind of leave blank, my recommendation is go ahead and answer it. Right. Completed applications absolutely do take precedence over incomplete ones. It takes all of 5 seconds to say, hey, I'm not too sure about this. It's something I would love to learn a little bit more about and discover more about our company, right? And those videos are paramount to a successful application. We're not looking for anything high quality. We're not, this is not a accelerator for videographers, right? So anything that you have, put it out there. Our goal is to just understand who you are from a personality point of view, and the reason why is pretty simple. As my team and I start putting together the applications together as one cohesive package for a cohort, we look at things holistically, right? So we look at the founder background, we look at the idea, the sector, how far along you are. And the one thing we all care about beyond just can we help move the needle forward is can you as individual founders walk in on day one to our program as total strangers with the mentors and the other founders. And by demo day, can you part ways as lifelong friends and colleagues? Right? That's how my team and I assemble our cohorts. So during that entire process, the 7 week process plus a week or two for demo day, you are relying on one another. So there is a very high level of camaraderie and community support that you receive. That's the entire crux of Founders Boost, right? That's something that it's definitely a give and take. So we're looking for founders who could really contribute to that, but will also benefit from it. So that's what we're looking for, right? So there's a little bit of a insider info for you. In terms of my background, I've been involved with Founders Boost now for the past 6 years. I started out as a mentor with the LA chapter, and I was just really impressed with the breadth and diversity of all the companies there, right? Everything from cutting edge fintech to apps that help you get your nails done cheaper and faster. Right. And that really summarizes what Founders Boost is all about. It's taking entrepreneurs with really interesting ideas from all sorts of backgrounds, especially the underrepresented ones, and giving these companies a really nice fertile bed, almost like a plant bed to kind of germinate, right? You guys, these companies are pretty much at that seed and pre-seed level, pre-accelerator level. What you're looking for is a little bit of support and validation. What might have started as a wonderful idea on the back of a napkin, right, needs a little bit of pruning to kind of come out through the soil. And that's our goal here. We pair that with, I really think, some world-class mentors. I'm not just saying that because I started out as one, but the folks we have, represent all facets of the ecosystem, whether it is your program managers at your FANGs, VCs, investors, founders, even our alums who've gone on to just do wonderful things. These are people who genuinely care. And the reason why I'm so passionate about it, and I come back to this program is um, you'll rarely find venues and opportunities where you'll have people who genuinely want to help you and give their time to help your team and your dream move forward, right? And the best part about it is that there's no there's no invoice at the end. When I was working on my startup many, many, many years ago, I won't tell you how much because it'll reveal all the gray hairs on my head. Uh, I'd
That's
get
why
some
you've
great
got the
advice.
hat on today.
Absolutely do. But I never wanted to, I was always afraid of getting in deeper with people who were helping me because I was so petrified of receiving an invoice, right? And I kind of moved past that. But at Founders Boost, this is a place for the mentors, right? The mentors who are working with you are people who want to be there, who really want to help you. Like truly, they're motivated to see you succeed, right? And for our founders, all we ask is you come prepared, you come with ideas, you come with an open mind, and be prepared to challenge yourself, right? Like the greatest moves that I've seen, the pattern recognition as a director I've had across 7 cohorts now, is the ability for founders to challenge themselves based off of just small inputs from mentors and other stakeholders, and have the ability to really uh, synthesize that information into tangible, meaningful feedback for either their model or their product itself. So I hope I've given a pretty okay overview of how we think about the applications, how we think about incoming companies. If you're inclined to apply, but Dan, I think it'd be a great time to open it up for questions.
Yes. I know that some of you are coming from the LinkedIn live stream. I know that we have had some technical challenges on that side. So thank you for your patience in coming back over into the Zoom platform. So for those of you here, and then we also are monitoring LinkedIn. So we might have some questions coming in that way through another channel.
Awesome.
Questions. Otherwise, we're just going to keep talking. And I don't know if you want that.
I can. I'll kick things off. How about that, right?
Sure, and just put your questions in the chat and we will answer them.
I'm looking. And we have a good group here too, so I know there's definitely a few questions, and if not, that's totally okay. One thing I tell all of my companies, All right, we have one. Go ahead and unmute yourself, sir. If you can, let me see. There we go.
Did you have a question? Nope.
No, no,
Oh,
no.
no. Okay.
Nope.
Okay. All right. We're going to go ahead and very good.
It's
Very,
good
very
to
good
see
here.
everybody's
Yeah, it's
faces
good to see
though.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm going to go ahead and just maybe put out a should ask question. It looks like we have one more here. Um, let's see if we can do a ask to unmute. Good morning. All right. So it looks like people are coming up. If you just want to, if folks are, we got a question in the chat. Do you offer funding in the program? That's a
Mm.
good, that's a good question, Dan. Do you want to take the first half of that?
Sure, sure. So the short answer is no. But wait, stay on the call. So we don't ask you to give us money. We don't ask you to give us equity. But that is true that we don't have a fund. We do have a fund available that we have used in the past, but no funding is guaranteed. And what this does is it allows us to actually work with more founders. So, why does that make sense? Well, when an accelerator is working from a fund, you are now not necessarily part of an accelerator, you're part of a portfolio. And it's just a different mindset. So, our program leaders are volunteers. Our mentors are volunteers. Our speakers are volunteers. We're doing this because we have a passion for helping early stage founders. It's not because we're going to get a kickback at the end of the day. So to me it's actually a value add. I know that sounds really horrible because there's not the funding, but we are working with you to go through the process in order to receive funding from somebody other than us, and that keeps your cap table the way you want it to be. You get to raise money on your own terms. We don't set your valuation, so it really does give you a lot more control, even though a lot of founders are looking for that funding when they are looking for an accelerator program. I think it also goes to what are you looking for in an accelerator program? What are your goals? Where does your business need to be? And a lot of times it's more than just a check. So that's something to consider.
Dan, that was a great answer. If I may just tail on that
Of
before we
course.
enter the other great questions we have here, which are solid logistical questions. But in terms of funding, and this also answers the last question that we have in the chat in terms of stage, right? We bring on companies in the idea stage, maybe MVP or pre-MVP. It's a full spectrum. And having done this now with over 180 companies, more founders think they're ready to raise, and everybody wants to raise. And the grim reality of it is that it's really hard to raise. The companies that are raising the capital have users, have revenue coming in, and are in a position where they actually don't need to raise. It's kind of a catch-22. Last year, I was part of a fund that deployed around $100 million annually. I ran an accelerator. We wrote a $150,000 check to companies. Right. The only difference between that accelerator and this, besides the money, the quality of the mentorship, the quality of the education and the sessions, I would say are just as great here, if not even better, because there is not that commitment of money, right? The reporting that you have, the second you take money from anybody, especially at this stage, you're giving up a lot of control. Our ethos and our goal is to really help you spread your wings, help you succeed. It wouldn't be appropriate, right? We do have, we try to make as many uh, introductions as possible. We want to get you ready to speak the language, right? Understand the jargon of investors and angel investors and VCs, and get you equipped enough to understand and refine your product. So I hope that answers that question. The weekly commitment question is a great one. This is what I tell all of my companies coming in. It really comes down to what you want to put in. We do have weekly sessions that run around 3 hours long. That includes a very healthy mentor session, some amazing pitch practice and feedback. with some world-class folks in the ecosystem, as well as some creme de la creme of speakers in the LA and even I tend to snag a few folks from Silicon Valley as well, right? So you'll have CEOs of Series C funded startups, with $80 million plus in the bank, walking you through how they did their seed stage pitch to SV Angel and Ron Conway back in the day, right? What they did and how that mentality and that presentation ethos carried over into raising a $26 million round from Kleiner Perkins. So you understand that full cycle. I think it's really important for all of our companies to understand, the full life cycle of where they are as an entrepreneur and where their company is going to be. So in terms of the commitment, it's what you want to put in, right? We have some base hours, but what I've noticed from a lot of the 100+ startups I've worked with as a co-director is you tend to put in a lot during the session, and you put in even more just prior to demo day. And that comes down to that support. You will be supporting each other in the cohort. So there'll be anywhere from 5 to 10 companies per cohort. And the way that I and my team put you together is not only on the strength of your idea and the progress, but how you support one another, right? Can you support a random stranger who you meet on day one? Will they become a lifelong colleague of yours, even if you're working on a B2B fertility app, and somebody else is working on a AI-enabled skateboard, right? And I've seen that, right? How do you support each other? How do you open doors for one another? How do you critique each other? How do you trust each other? That's what we're looking for. We're looking for folks who can be pillars for one another and also for our mentors and our entire ecosystem community, right? I think that's answering most of the questions there. I would love to turn it open to anybody in the audience here. If you have any questions, I
Yeah,
promise you,
yeah, let's keep the
we'd love
questions
to hear them.
going. Yeah, I saw that we have some coming in from LinkedIn. One is asking for medtech startups. Do we have mentors available? I encourage everybody to apply. And the reason is our program leaders, like Arvind, review every single application. So we are choosing a cohort based on how best we can help you. So if there's someone on the team or we have a network, we are definitely going to look at your startup because we know we can help. So regardless of vertical, please apply. We do have mentors. We have a very large global network. So we can definitely support you. Still apply because we're looking at everybody on an individual basis and we're reading all of the applications. It takes a lot of time, so it takes us a little bit to get through all of the applications, but we are really trying to pull a cohort together where it is a very cohesive cohort. To Arvin's point, can everybody help each other? And then also, how well can our local networks help you? Let's
All right,
see.
and I just noticed the chat here. It looks like our HQ is doing a really great job of answering those questions in the chat. Uh, I'm going to go to that. I see. Are there verticals or industries you prefer to work with? I think Diane answered that. Absolutely. We like to see everything. And I'll give you a very good example. I think, Diane, you mentioned medtech, something like that, right? Back in 2019, we had a team that was working on a sensor. And they're having a lot of issues with just the wireless connectivity of that sensor, especially getting it FCC and FDA approved just for basic testing. And we actually had a mentor who was associated with the Verizon 5G lab here in LA. And that opened a lot of doors in terms of antenna design, enlisting a few Verizon engineers to help out totally on their time. And I believe that ended up in a fruitful relationship where they helped them kind of navigate what it would take to submit the appropriate paperwork. So we tend not to gatekeep when it comes to industry. We do have a pretty solid network. And once you're in, we commit to you to try to open those doors, right? Well, at the very worst, we'll unlock a door, right? But we'll need you to help us open those doors together, right? That's the great thing about doing this for so long and doing it in a way where there's no fee, no equity. When you have that core mentality, you tend to attract a lot of great people who really want to help. That includes a lot of corporates, a lot of successful founders, and even venture capitalists who just want to keep their pulse on the industry. And it results in some pretty cool things. So I'm pretty happy about that. I see another question in the chat. Is this program only for Kenya or is it a global program? That's a great question. That's a fantastic question. So we will have local chapters, right? So Kenya would be a local chapter, and they will have a program interval where they're meeting typically weekly. That may or may not be remote. Same thing for Los Angeles and Glendale. So we'll have a local chapter. We'll get together with just local startups. I wish we could take everybody, but we'll keep it to just our local region, and we'll meet in person once a week at a designated location, right? At time and location, typically in the evenings when people are done with their day jobs or after work, right? To make traffic easier for folks, right? Founders Boost is a global network, so typically you'll see programs from half a dozen cities around the country. For fall of 2025, we're limiting it to three great places, Kenya, and then two of our Los Angeles and Glendale programs. And I think for 2026 we'll have some exciting news about the city availability. But I hope that helps answer the question.
And we
Oh,
are
and Vancouver's coming
yep,
in.
yep. And we are coming up on the end of our half hour. We'll stick around for a little bit to continue answering questions, or at least I can stay on for a little bit to answer those questions. What what's our inspiration for working with Kenya startups? Why Africa? Because there's so much going on in Africa. Oh my gosh. We have a really strong program based in Nairobi. So we have boots on the ground in Nairobi, and then we also have a co-director who's based here in the US in Boston. And that allows for international cross-population, cross-pollination when it comes to the network. So we know what our local founders in Africa need within their communities, but we're giving them the support, the same level of support that we do our US based and other international based chapters. Why? Because every startup can achieve the same high level of output. Can you all have your goals and the change you want to see in the world? You should not be limited based on your geography. So we have the same high expectations of everybody. That's why we have our global network available to everybody. And because there's so much going on within Africa, we are able to tap into that economy too. So the Africa program, it is Kenya, but it's a virtual program. We are focused on, of course, Kenya. We're looking for founders in Ghana and Nigeria. Those are the main locations. But if you are anywhere within Africa, please submit an application. And again, our program leaders are looking through each of those applications individually and then helping from a virtual capacity.
And who doesn't want to be the founder of the next M-Pesa? So there's a lot of excitement in the Kenyan and the Pan African startup community. So yeah, that's why we're there. We're very bullish on Africa. All right, so I'm seeing that the last question here in our chat is the timing of the program. Diane, can you speak to that? The timing of the Kenya program?
Sure. And so that was a little bit of what I was alluding to is that yes, it is a local chapter and you have someone local to you who understands the unique challenges of your ecosystem, but you have the global network and we're based in the US. So you're getting that level of experience and support regardless of which chapter and which location you are involved in. So yes, we can make we're flexible on that end. Any
That's awesome.
Yep. Any other final questions? And before you log off, if you've received information from me via F Success, just reply back to those emails. It goes right into my inbox. I will respond to those. Otherwise, my email is very easy. It's Diane at foundersboost.com. So you can reach me there. I'm on LinkedIn too. I love to connect with founders. If there's any other way that I can continue to support you in your journey, please let me know. Anything else,
Guys,
Arvind?
maybe something.
Oh, yes.
Please.
Yeah, actually, congratulations. I'm located here in Vancouver. It's the first time that I joined this kind of like live events. And actually, Founder Boost is very active here in Vancouver.
Yes.
So congratulations.
Oh, thank you very much. I
Yeah,
appreciate that. And thank you for coming.
it's very, very active. So yeah, it's good to know that it's like a
Yeah.
global network.
Yeah. Vancouver always has a good program when we have it. So please, stay in the orbit, stay connected, check out the emails, always see what's going on. The good news is the spring program applications it'll come a lot faster. So I want you to start thinking about that, right? Even now, take a look at the application that exists now. So you have a head start on the questions, right? I think that's really important. I see the next question here, April. In terms of we've had Phoenix programs in the past. Hybrid programs, here's the truth. They kind of work and they kind of don't. My goal is to make sure that you're supported in Phoenix, right? With Phoenix-based angels and mentors who could help guide you. Because the truth is, it sounds alluring to say, hey, you know what, I could work remotely with somebody in San Francisco or New York. That network only extends to the other person on the Zoom screen with you. You really want that local community support. That's super important. So that's why we do these city chapters. I know the Phoenix chapter in the past has been pretty awesome. Um, just like with Hyrule, I would recommend staying looped in. Um, Diane, do we do hybrid programs? Is that something that we've been thinking about, or something that's totally virtual, a global program? Is that something in the works?
Right now, our intent is to have in-person programs with the exception of Africa. So, hybrid programs like what we're running in our LA area, there is an in-person component. So, we do want you to be available for those in-person sessions. But to Arvin's point, we want to make sure that you have those boots on the ground to support you in your local ecosystem. That's usually where you get that additional next level of traction. So it is something that we've talked about in terms of running a virtual program, but it's really important to have that in-person peer component. We saw that with COVID, how important that peer-to-peer being in front of a live human being, how important that is.
Yes.
So that's something that we're very mindful when we think about our founder experience for our program, because it's more than just you learning how to put a pitch together. It really is about building your own community and building you the support that you need. And that's done. There's a lot of benefits with being in person. So it is something that we are thinking through at an executive level, but right now our programs are really focused on the in-person component.
That makes a lot of sense. I think that peer group is super important. We'll have folks who will meet one on one by themselves and just practice their pitching, practice their technique, work on things and just polish things up. So that's paramount. We would never want to cheat you out of that. Dan, you put September 10th in the chat. Why is
Yeah,
that date important?
that's an important day. I'm not sure why. That's applications are due on September 10th. That is next Wednesday. So please complete your application by then, and we will look forward to reviewing more information about your startup.
I want to
Oh,
answer
no
the
equity, no fee.
Dawn's question. That's what I thought too, right? When I came on board as a mentor, I was like, what's the catch here? There's no catch. You come in, you go through, you're supported. Because of that, we're selective, right? So we do these info sessions to prep everybody. We want a fair playing field. We're one of the best programs. We've fed companies into plenty of companies into Techstars, YC, Calacanis, right? Uh, and just direct funding. So how are we making money? This is community driven. Just like asking, the Boy Scouts, why are they doing what they're doing? We do this to help the community, to empower the community. In terms of the raw dollars, we rely on sponsorship. We rely on corporate sponsors, the big companies to support us. That's how we get to do what we do. That's how we get, nice food on demo day. But we're really here to support you and just continue building the community. What's the catch? Once you're a successful founder, we hope you come back and be a mentor and help out, people who follow in your footsteps, right? That's the catch. What you will find in your journey as an entrepreneur is a lot of people who want to help, and you have to be in the best position to take that help, right? And you have to use your judgment on, are these people here to support me, or is there something else going on? So I really appreciate the question, because it's always great to just be direct, right? Why are you doing this? Well, how do you make money? We do this because it's this passion for us, right? I've been blessed to be a successful founder. I have been in this ecosystem. I have made lifelong friends and connections. And part of it was just paying it forward, right? I'm literally just paying back all the people who've helped me. And it's super important that we do that to keep this ecosystem and community moving forward. So I hope that helps answer that question.
Awesome. Well, thank you everybody for your time and the additional questions. Again, my email is in the chat. Please reach out to me if you have any questions, or reply back through F-Success, which is where you apply for the program. I do get those emails. I am a real person. And then if you have yet to apply, there is a link in the chat as well. It's just /apply, and you'll see our chapters that are currently having applications open. If you don't see your city, we do have a wait list on that page as well. Just drop your name in there, and then I go through those and email you when we have applications opening in those additional locations. So thank you everybody for your time. Arvind,
Thank
thank you
you.
so much for joining us today and sharing your words of wisdom
Of
and
course.
running the LA program. Please keep in touch, and we look forward to reviewing your applications on September 10th. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, everybody. Good luck.
Thank you.
Great seeing you
Appreciate it.
all.
Same here.